Okay, so I'm going to be kind of creating a guide to the custom nation designer, kind of creating something for how to be powerful. So I was going to try just make up as I go, more or less. So this is my normal settings mostly. So I suppose my first video or section or whatever you want this will be is how to be powerful on very easy with the random nations and power and random values, because that's the really what I think is best. The random tax mod of basically that random bit allows you to be pretty good anywhere. When you have that, you want to be strong. You're going to want to take either to being in America, South America, Africa, anywhere where the provinces are normally very bad or not really going to get you that much tax and the normal game, because that means they'll be super cheap in terms of points, and they still cost what they would normally cost. They don't cost like a flat value, so you can get a bunch of territory and then hope that with RNG you'll get a lot of good stuff in there, because there's no guarantee saying you won't. So then the next, I suppose I'll outline general stuff, because I'm not actually going to be playing this with a custom setup. That's just really up to how you make the other nations. Normal setup, so you don't actually have, or wait, no, getting this wrong. Actually, yeah, normal setup. What I meant to do was for the random with normal values. So for this, now actually would matter if you went to one of these places. Generally, I would say, actually I don't know how much the Asian province costs. Let's see here. These are like, yeah, these are pretty freaking expensive. So yeah, maybe not China. So yeah, maybe India might work nicely. That doesn't have the tax or the base tax map load. I'd say with I guess when you're going to have the normal tax modifiers, either go someplace where there's a lot of gold, so you can support your economy through that. So I think that's generally South America. You might still be able to get away with it, or Europe. And then flat values, it really doesn't matter. I think I'd assume they still cost. Actually, I've never done a flat value, so I'll just do the points cost. 21, 30, 40, 50, 104, 111, 04 to 11, or math, 7. Then from 11 to 18, that's another 7. Okay, so for flat, they actually do all cost the same, so at that point it's just wherever you like aesthetically, I think, and wherever you want to be. Like, if you want to be up north and actually at that point it's really kind of trade. If you want to be able to control here or the Cape, or you want to have a nice area to defend. By the way, I prefer one thing to change. So for random values, then very easy. If I want to be a fairly strong power, then I just choose somewhere in the Americas. Random tax value again means that you should spread out. So like I could create a custom nation down South America, take a whole bunch of land here, see how much you can actually get. Let's take as much land as you want, or let's take a good, basically I start by taking a good chunk of land, so that way I have a nice selection for rolling for base tax in. I'll have a large area, and hopefully in that area I'll roll some good numbers. I don't really have a specific number of points I look to spend on that, but the next major thing is I go and obviously change this to Western. That's expensive, but it's going to give you a major advantage down here. And then past that, that's really up to your preference, although I'd recommend leaving culture the same, judging from my last game that I just completed up here, where I chose American culture and Brittany. That didn't work out well. Although, whatever religion you choose, that will still carry through all your promises. Culture might or might not, but probably doesn't. And then government type, I normally go with a republic of some form, because I don't have to worry about buffing my leader's stats, because I can re-elect a different one the next time. I don't even have to spend points on an heir. So I suppose you could even potentially just get rid of all the points and just wait the however long of the election period you have. Next for ideas, generally in Americas, probably parts of Africa, although not as much, and definitely northern Asia, you're going to want to, or at least what I'd normally do is I take under diplomatic, I take a colonist and maybe even two, although it looks like that's a bit expensive with that Western tech group, so since I've last done this, the values have changed. Then, I suppose since we'd have Western tech group, our armies will be powerful. At that point, our biggest problem is that we can't explore. Fortunately, we can't actually get an explorer. I don't think we can't get the ability to recruit them. So instead, you want to think about what you're going to be doing. Like, if you're going to be a trading nation, you're probably going to want to have some more, like, trade-powered merchants, although I don't think merchants you might want to go down here, or maybe not at all with the colonists, because the colonist is the key to expanding without having to wait for that next tech group and going exploration. Although you could conceivably leave out the colonists and do that, you just have to wait a while to expand. So, like say I was going for trade then. Probably want something like a global trade power. Probably try to buff that a bit. And maybe global settler increase might be a nice first thing, or it might be a good thing for up here to complement our colonist. Next major thing for a trading nation, trade steering, and maybe that trade efficiency will be good. I'm not going to boost them up, but it's going to take some work. So that brings up Subtown 700 points. So now we're really heavily into diplomatic, so I'm going to balance this out a bit, since that will reduce the cost of my ideas. I have 50%. I have more than 50% because category increases the cost of all ideas, so I want to try to get that down below 50%, which, if I'm too lazy to look through the other ideas, then I might just boost up these until that goes down below 50%, but instead I'm going to go into admin now. Idea cost is always a nice one, which I like. Let's see here. What would be another good thing for a trading nation? Interest, you might be taking some loans. That could be another alternate early thing. You know, when I played with Randomized New World, since... Oh yeah, another quick note. Randomized New World, it doesn't actually keep your giant territory. It just gives you, like, a few provinces nearby you. I think the more you have, the more of a chance that they'll end up right next to it. Could be that you'll get the province if you had it selected and it ends up being next to you, but I've not tested it out, so I'm not at all 100% sure. I'd also probably maybe let's go with a tax modifier. It's going to be powerful, especially if we end up rolling poorly. So now we're just lacking some military, so force limit for... Did I say I wrote the last one? Oh well. Yeah, force limit for late game, that could be helpful. And actually be tempted to go for naval force limit, maybe. But has to go to subject contributors, especially since we're in the Americas. We might have some colonial nations, so that could help a lot. I generally do it like this with my priorities, although sometimes I might recommend switching these around so that way you have a balance of what you're getting throughout. And then finally, for my ambition, so what I get after I complete all of these, just in general is something that looks good. Like, I don't know, maybe I might go for colonial range, because this will be generally about maybe 16. No, not six. This will be like mid to late games, 1700s, late 1600s if I had to guess. You'll be getting there. So that's in general. So like that could be our trading nation in the south. I suppose we'd also have to then change government to, where is the trade republic? Merchant Republic. There you go. I'd probably keep Animus in this case. Culture, yeah, I'm not gonna bother to change that, and now I just grab what I can from this. Take a bunch. No, that's a bit over. That was worth a lot, so I might consider this taking some less expensive stuff that isn't, so that way I have even more provinces that I might otherwise have. So that's not a good one to take. So there we go. So now we have this all set up. North America, South America, you don't have as many natives, so you wouldn't be as concerned about militaristic ideas, even though I did take some to balance it out. Up here now then, maybe we'd want to be just a colonial militaristic power, so custom nation, add, so say we're going to be a massive power up here that's going to be very expansionist. The first thing, we want to be Western. Going to want to be, yeah, monarchy or anything else that would give me troops. So feudal, national manpower would be nice. Steppe nomad, fair relations over time, but that provincial authority kind of is hurtful. Not a tribal kingdom, don't want to be a tribal thing. Empire, that would be nice. That autonomy change, income from vassals, morale of armies, that's, the morale might help a lot. Let's try that, and would anything look nicer? I know it would be nice, but I don't think we'd meet the requirements. So actually I think I'll switch to feudal monarchy to save points. So at this point we actually might want to put like a few points into our current guy. Our heir not as much. I might at most increase his age so he's really old, so that way you don't have to worry about having him around for too long. Although that could, if you're lucky, you'll probably have some heir event once he dies, or you'll have a new king pretty quickly once he takes power. So I said something like a colonial and a militaristic power. So I put obviously double colonist. There's more. I think for here I'd also then have the first one. I think I'd actually want to improve my combat abilities rather than actually manpower or something. So instead, I don't want leader stuff. That's only if you have leaders, which you should, but it's not as good. Alternative might be a maintenance skill. If you cost less, you'll be able to do more with it. But discipline I hear is good, so I'll boost that up. Next, morale, that's also good combat thing. Next, so we have this. My last, maybe somewhere around here, I'll increase my force limit, because I should be getting a lot though throughout this. Force limit, and then maintenance is something I'm going to want to boost up a lot. So now obviously we have this tax modifier. That should be big because we're going to have an expensive army right here, and we want to have a good spread. So I won't do that, but idea costs help me get to these a bit more. You can see how my point cost is actually going down. I think that's because we have the colonists. It's so expensive. Or no, it's because of our max out military ideas. Those are expensive. So you can actually spend points and will reduce the cost in terms of this. Now some Diplo stuff, we're going to have a lot of shore, and if we ever plan on invading Europe, we're going to need a good navy. So for that we I might pick up. Let's see here. Naval force limits, are those a thing? That or ship durability might also be good. No, I don't see naval force limits, although I could just be blind. Cost. Force limits, there we go. At this point, we're actually pretty expensive. So, what I would do here is maybe just reduce how much I spent on all of these, because, yeah, going to want to get fairly big. I'm going to build down to the coast so I can actually take advantage of my navy as quickly as possible. I'm going to generally try to make a nice looking country. Now we're actually over here for our actual. Okay, that was an expensive province. 87. Now I can expand up here. And again, with this random values I'm going for right now, it's not the actual worth of the province. Normally it's how many provinces you have. So this is our colonist expansionist, so they're probably going to want to attack a lot of people and then also colonize to expand and just get blob, and then probably explore down towards Europe. I might have to, or maybe even eventually declare a no Stevie war on someone over here who's weak enough, or colonize Africa so somehow, or just basically get a foothold in here. British Isles or Ireland up here, those might work nicely as well. You can also consider building yourself like way up here to get yourself really close to England and maybe attack them and get them, or because they're also fairly separate from mainland. That will give you a nice point then once you're over here, even though it will be distance overseas. You can then use that to boost off and just attack Europe. Okay, so now we have our trade, our expansionist. So we have these powerful Asian nations, and they're going to be at a disadvantage in terms of technology, and there's lots of cheap land, I'd imagine, up here. So next, I suppose, if we want to be a European power, then so you might change your ideas depending on what your goal is. So I'm gonna make another kind of Russia-y country. It's gonna be big, although it looks like a lot of these provinces are just big and not actually a lot. But still, you're going to have a large size if you're doing good. Next thing, how much does it take to get Western? Only 40 points, which is very good for you. So now we have this large hunk of land, which is going to have all randomized values, so it's not going to be normal crappy provinces from colonizing. We're actually getting pretty big. Although that, again, could just be an illusion from how big the provinces are for the that are normally colonized by maybe Russia. Suppose you could actually take that. Yeah, this is still pretty massive. Maybe I'd build a little bit more over into here, just so that way we have a way to get our foot into Europe. It's like a arm. Here it's starting to get expensive, so I'm going to ignore that. So you have this nice chunk of land. You might bend yourself down south or wherever you're looking to conquer. So Western might consider being a Catholic, or an Orthodox or Coptic. Some Catholic, so you'd blend in with Europe, or one of the others if you want to be able to similar, so not have too big of a penalty, and be able to use your Deus Vult Costus Belli from the religious ideas, which actually, sure, let's say that's what our goal is. So Coptic, no one's really Coptic a whole lot. Aren't the two true faiths? That means you'll have some tolerance, I assume. Yeah, well, no doubt. Some fort defense, that's going to be very helpful for you. Again, we want to boost up our leader to be okay. maybe increase our heir's age, so we'll get rid of him quickly. So next, we're trying to be militaristic again. Actually, I think I might put the tax modifier, because we're going to have a lot of land, actually. So, admin, tax, national tax modifier. Where is that? National tax modifier. National tax modifier. Yeah, I might. And then, that got expensive. Probably like a good amount of points here. And then instead of production, I'd at least start with something militaristic. Probably something rather than actual force length or something. Something like shock or discipline, morale. Any of those things to help you. I think this time I'll try morale. This only goes up to 30 versus about discipline. Discipline. I know you're in here. Discipline, that goes up to 30, so it's the same scale. And this time let's try morale. Can increase that a bit. Then here, I think I might put in some tax modifier. No, I already did that. So then, what would I do here? Maybe a bit of stability or some ideas. Diplomatic, could add some, where is it? Maybe some, relations or some merchants. Now we're going to have, no, that's a lot. We're going to have a lot of land, we can control some trade. Diplomatic relations could be useful. Go back down to some military, increase our force limits just to make sure that we're really big. Actually, I'll leave discipline in down there. And manpower recovery would be nice. Then, yeah, I suppose maintenance, that brings us up perfectly to 800. Although, probably I boosted that. No. Okay. So this would be, I think, a fairly okay nation. You could go for religious ideas and you'd have lots of costless balai around here. Could turn the league focus down here. Could change some of these. Suppose I should have that be Western. Well, that's just an aesthetic. And then finally in Central Europe, I mean trade, it's being in the English trade node like I did on that London thing. Could have our trading nation be focused up here. Take all the English channel. We're obviously already going to not be a Western nation and have the Catholic religion, so we won't have to worry as much about this. And the North Sea, that just flows in from there. Might then, because you could probably invest in some land down here, get your ability to steer trade from this trade region and from up here going.
You want to put your stuff on it?
I'll do that in a bit.
You put it in the refrigerator when you're done.
Then you'd have, yeah, let's finish up this trade node. So that way we have large control of the trade up around here. Won't be a whole lot of people able to stop you. Guess that's too far away, so yeah, we'd have, though we're a bit spread out right now, I might actually just ignore that. We have a good amount of power in the trade nodes. Why not take Ile-de-France? It's a good province, even in the normal game, even though it will be expensiver. So we already have English, Catholic, Western despotic, that's generally good. Spend some points here. Oh yeah, and then our ideas. So actually, yeah, I might boost that up a bit, and then complement that with a, trade powers, so either merchants. That would be good, either first or second one. Or where was trade steering? Provincial trade. Oh, so that means our provinces would be worth more. I won't go too heavy into that. So then, let's try a merchant from admin? Really? Is that where it is? No, I missed it, didn't I? Yeah, right there's a merchant. Now having more than this size is a bit expensive. Well, navies, I might instead replace this with a naval force limit, wherever that is. Seriously, there it is, 7.5. Boost that up. Then we'd need like some more other type, just to try to reduce the actual cost of the diplomatic technologies. Maybe it could go down here. Yeah. Okay, next we'd just find a few more provinces that we wanted. And, or boost your air, I guess. So yeah, that's would be a good either normal or randomized nation. You'd be fairly powerful for trade. You could come and also potentially be militaristically powerful. Yeah, at least in the normal game you'd have a good, not much base tax. And then finally Africa with the random, you're going to have a lot more nations. So we'd probably just gonna choose a bunch of provinces like I have been doing. Take a big block of land. And Africa is another place where we might consider. Oh wait, first I wanna suppose. Oh good, Western's only 40 because we're Muslim. Then I'd normally leave that alone unless you want the modifiers from a different one. So after choosing land, take a nice chunk of it. Will be fairly big west in this part of the world. With this being so cheap, we can actually take a lot of land. Okay, also what I'm doing right now is take some of this coastal land and block Europeans out a bit more. And so we'd just keep taking more land. So we have a bunch of provinces. Then let's try getting our borders to here and filling in. Okay. A few more provinces and we'll have all this, and it's a nice chunk of land for only 500 power. And let's boost that up here so we're actually relatively close to touching the European stuff. So that way if we wanted to war up that way we could. So we have this, and presumably we'd want to be relatively good militaristic, so like I've done the last few times, you'd choose some appropriate ideas or in general for what you're doing. And so this would be what you'd have set probably for your random world on easy. And so next, there you go. Actually, I'll end the video there and just have it be my guide for an easy random world. For a non-random world, or non-random, basically nations in terms of the randomness, I don't think that affects me too much in how I choose. It might for you. You might be even more wary about if you know there's normally a big nation you wouldn't, in some place you wouldn't be as worried about, but if you're in a place where it might not be, you'd be a bit more worried because there actually could be one. But in general, you're going to be fine. As with the setup. So next I'll go try an easier difficulty or go to a non-random world. Actually, like I said, non-random is not that different. It's just instead of taking the rest of the world, you'd either go for, like I said at the beginning of the video, places where you're going to have gold supplementing your income, or just generally stay in Europe rather than expanding out to the rest of the world. As you can see by this, this was just the normal cost of what it would be, you can still get a fairly sizable nation in Europe, and this will have a good base tax, like 269. You have 70,000. You have 70 provinces, a nice force limit, and you'd start with, or have a nice amount of manpower and a great navy. You'd be pretty good to go. So I guess Axanos changed ideas, though. See you then. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out the rest of the channel. Maybe not, maybe, definitely, who knows. Share it with your friends, share it with anyone you want to. Leave feedback or what you'd do in the comments, just, you know, the normal stuff.